Hi everyone, welcome to Excel with UT. So this is a follow-up video or session of the earlier session. In the earlier session, we talked about the if logical formula with the AND operator. And now we are going to see a new variant of the same video wherein we talk about the if logical function with the OR operator. Now let's first understand what's the basic difference between the two, how the structure works here. So when we work with the AND operator, as we discussed in the earlier video, it tests the logical test, and there can be many logical tests. For example, I've just taken three here for demonstration purpose, but there can be n number of logical tests. There can be many logical tests. However, how it works is it tests the logical conditions, and only if all the logical conditions are true, the results become true. If any of the logical condition If any of the logical condition is false here, the result will become false. Similarly, the OR operator, it works just in the opposite way. Here also we can test multiple logical conditions at once, and the number of logical conditions that we are testing here all have to be false together, then only the results is false. If any of the logical condition is true, the result gets true. So that's the basic difference between the and the OR operator. And let's see how when we use it in combination with the if logical function, how we need to work here. So I've taken the earlier data set of some students performing in an exam, different sections of exam, and we're trying to we're trying to get some results out of them. So we calculated the result in the scholarship earlier. Now, where we used the AND operator along with if. Now we're trying to see the retest eligible. So we want to check if there is a chance if some students can undergo retest. So we have set few criterias of the retest, and basis that we'll try to see and get the results here for the students. So the retest criteria is the students should have passed in either the Viva or the practical. If he is passed in any one of the sections here, we will allow a retest. But if he's failing in both the Viva or the practical, there is no retest there. So that's the retest criteria that we have set in. Let's see how we can use it in the formula, and we can use the OR condition along with the if function here. So let's start here. We'll start with the if condition, that is the logical test condition here, and immediately we'll open with the OR operator here. We're using the OR operator because we want to check if there are any conditions here which becomes true, then the result will be true. Only if all the conditions are false, the results will be false here. Okay, so we'll say tab, we'll enter into the formula, and it asks you the logical test 1, 2, and many, and there can be a number of logical tests here. So the first logical test here, we're trying to test whether the person is passing Viva practical. So we're saying this cell should be greater than 7. That's the first test. The next test is we're saying the student, the Viva score should be greater than 3. That's the second logical test here. So we are checking basis these three checks here, these two checks here, and we close here. We are only checking for practical and Viva as per the conditions here. Now the logical test is done here, basis OR. So what's the value of true? So value of true is basically if it passes in any one of the examinations, we'll say the person is, we can take a retest. However, if he fails in both, there's no retest. So that's the criteria that we have set. Let's close the formula here, say enter. Now let's auto populate the formula in all the cells here. Now see, we have the results here. Let's try to cross check few some sample cases. So see, the first case we are trying to see the score in practical is 7. Now this is not greater than 7, it's equal to 7. This is not greater than 7. The score in Viva, this is less than 3. So both the cases, the score is less than the parking, this less or equal to the passing marks here, and that's the reason it's given no retest. If you see the second case here, both the scores 4 and 2 are less than the passing marks here, and that's the reason we are saying no retest here. However, in the next case, we can see the score in the practical is more than the passing marks. However, and also the score in the Viva is more than the passing marks. So both the scores are, in this case, the student has passed in both, and that's the reason we are giving retest here. So in this case, the student has passed in both the sections of the exam, hence we're taking the retest. Similarly, the next as well. Now, if you see the last example, the student has failed in practical, however, he is passed in Viva. So this is the condition wherein he is only becoming true for one of the conditions. Is failing in practical, but it is passing in Viva. And even if he's passing in one of the examination, we are taking the retest, and that's the reason we are making him eligible for the retest. So that's how we can set the criteria here. Now, for example, in this case, we are saying greater than 7, so it's taking no retest. But if I just make a small change and make it equal to, the result changes. It takes a retest. So we've just tweaked the condition or the criteria a bit, wherein it says the practical score should be greater than and equal to 7, because here it's a borderline score here for the practical, and it becomes it's a little unfair because it's just on the passing verge. So we have made greater than and equal to 7, and that's the reason the condition has changed here. The person is eligible for the retest. So that's how we can use the or condition and the and condition. And I hope you were able to understand the basic structural difference between both the conditions here. Both are kind of opposite to each other, and they can be used within any of the logical functions. So currently we were talking of the if logical functions here. They can also be clubbed with other logical functions, sum if, count if, and many other functions like that. So hope you were able to learn things out of this video. Let's meet in the next video. Thank you.